Welcome. Today we're going to take a look at how 6th and 7th graders can start citing their sources using an MLA format. Now keep in mind that this is not going to include all of the MLA format. It's just a first step for 6th and 7th graders just to get them used to citing sources and an introductory point for using MLA. So when we're talking about online sources, these are sources that you pull off of the internet. 6th and 7th graders can use just the source's URL address to cite the source. So BU teachers will not expect additional details about the source. We will accept just the URL address for grades 6 and 7. Let me show you what this looks like. Here are a couple of examples. You'll see here that I have this article from NPR. And this here, that is the URL. That is the address. And you'll see that we have another one here from the New York Times. Again, this is the URL. So a student could submit this as enough evidence for the source that they used. All right, so that's online sources. Let's take a look at paper sources. So for paper sources, 6th and 7th graders can use the source's author and the title of the piece. So BU teachers will not expect additional details about the source. The author's name and the title of the piece are enough for these grades. Let me show you some examples. So for 6th and 7th graders, it's okay to just have the author's name and the title of the piece. We've got two examples here. We've got Ray Bradbury, who's the author of Fahrenheit 451. This is a book. And then we have here an article by Anya Kamenetz. I'll look at the group supporting school board protesters nationwide. That's the name of an article. Okay, so we've got a book and we've got an article. Let's take a look at the differences here. You'll see that in this one, we have this piece here is closer to the actual MLA style because we have last name, comma, first name, period for the author. That's the way that you should do it. Last name, comma, first name, period for the author. And then we have the title of the book that is italicized, Fahrenheit 451. That's the way you're supposed to do it. It's supposed to be italicized. Now, for 6th and 7th graders, because this is new, because you're getting used to this, we will accept if you do first name, last name of the author, and then title of the book that is not italicized. We will still accept that. But we'd like it to get you moving toward using that MLA format. Same thing with an article. You would normally do the last name, comma, first name of the author, of the writer, and then you would put the title of the article in quotation marks. You'll see that there's a quotation mark before the A and after nationwide. That's the correct format for MLA citations. We will accept it if a student does first name, last name of the author, and then the title of the piece without the quotation marks. We'll still accept that. So that's how you do paper sources. Name of the author, title of the piece. All right, let's talk about in-text citations. So the in-text citation goes at the end of the sentence where a student borrowed information from a source. That's what you include in an in-text citation. This can be the author's last name or the first two words of the piece. Now you're only going to use the first two words of the piece if you do not have an author's last name. An example on that might be a website where they don't list the author, but you've got great information on that website that you want to include. Let me show you some examples. All right, so here I've got the author's last name of Bradbury, the author's last name of Lamont. So these are two examples where I've used the author's last name. Here I've got the first two words in the title of the piece, arrested for, and then the second example here is a look. So these are first two words in the title of the piece. These are author's last name. Okay, and you'll see here that we have an example. This is exactly the way that this would look as an in-text citation. So in the sentence in the novel, Fahrenheit 451, Montag eventually turns away from society's rules, Bradbury. So the citation is right here where it has the author's last name. It's inside of parentheses and the period goes on the outside of that. That's what an in-text citation is going to look like for 6th and 7th graders. All right, let's look at overall expectations. 6th and 7th grade students need to list the URL address for online sources, or list the author's name and the title of the piece for paper sources. BU teachers will accept this for source documentation. And make sure that you always include an in-text citation at the end of each sentence where you borrowed information from a source. In-text citations typically go in your body paragraphs. So let me show you another example here. This is what a works cited page would look like. We have last name of the author, first name of the author, period, title of the article in quotation marks. We have last name of the author, comma, first name of the author, period. We have title of the book in italics. And here we have the URL that goes to this online source. This is acceptable for 6th and 7th graders for a works cited page. Okay. And then finally, the last question, can 6th and 7th graders use citation generators? Yes. At these grade levels, students may use citation generators. These are websites where they will help you create your citation. EasyBib and Citation Machine are two examples of those. All right, so these are all your directions here on how to use MLA citations for 6th and 7th graders. If you have questions, reach out to your teacher, and your teacher will be able to help you.